Good morning, everyone. It's Chad from Green Acres. Hope you're all doing well. It's about 7 o'clock. Getting ready to get at it. Going to meet a new guy potentially at the gas station. We'll try him out. He's moving in from Prattville, Alabama, which isn't too far from here. Wants to be closer to his girlfriend, so going to try him out and just see how he does. We'll probably work a good half a day or so. He's got a lot of experience, which is what I look for. Seems like a good guy, and he likes doing this kind of work. You know, we'll talk more about employees, man. I got some drama going on. We'll talk about that later, but I know it's been raining pretty much everywhere, right? I've been seeing some videos, people talking about the rain, and despite the rain, we've still managed to do 78 yards. I won't tell how much money we've done so far this week, Doc. But yeah, we've managed to do 78 properties, including the big HOA account, which we did on Memorial Day. So it's been a good week overall, despite the rain. We even did a couple bush jobs and a $300 pressure washing job that we finished up while it was pouring down raining Thursday. We were able to finish that up, so that's good. But yeah, despite the wetness, I still pushed through. We still pushed through, and we've had a solid week. We'll probably end up mowing around 10 today to add to the total, just to stay caught up. But we're relatively caught up. There's going to be some yards. I've already contacted customers that I would have done yesterday or Thursday, but with it being wet, I know particular yards that, particular customers that are pretty picky that wouldn't want me to come by with being pretty damp. So I told them I'd just let it dry out this weekend and come Monday. But I will plan on mowing it a good 10 days later the following week just to get them back on schedule. So that's typically how I, do things when it comes to rainy weeks. I want to try to keep my workload pretty similar, so to speak, week in, week out, since I do bi-weekly primarily with the yards I cut. So that just gives you an idea of how I operate a little bit when it comes to rainy weather and how I do things. But I've got got another clip after this one that I'll post from yesterday talking about, what I think is important to consider and to do when it comes to rainy weather, and mainly building your customer base up, which is something I've done a really good job of having a mixture of yard types and grass types and making sure I've got a lot of good customers that aren't overly picky necessarily, so I can still mow yards when it's wet. And we'll talk about that later in a clip that I posted yesterday, and I may or may not leave the second half of that particular clip talking about my employee situation that happened yesterday morning. Got overly really pretty emotional yesterday morning, I'll say that. I'm pretty sure. I know my wife heard me through the window, and maybe my neighbors right here. I'm not sure if they heard me or not, but I was really upset. I was screaming on the phone. I was so upset about what I've been having to deal with this particular guy. That works for me. But either way, it's water under the bridge. I think we're good at this point, but you never know, right? So that's one of the reasons why I'm trying this guy out. And I've got another guy lined up that I'm going to try out next Saturday, just because I feel like I need to have guys ready to go, y'all. Because I'm really not sure about either one of my guys, really, to be honest with you. I hate saying it, but it's true. So I got to do what I got to do to get ready, prepare, in case I need to make a move when it comes to employees, right? We'll talk more about that later, y'all. Getting ready to leave the house, go pick up the new guy. Hopefully have a great day, and looking forward to meeting this guy and seeing how he does. Hope you're well. What's up, fellas? Hope you're doing well, man. I just want to do a quick clip. and then we'll talk maybe later after today. So I don't know if you can see the pavement's wet. I've been getting through it, guys, and a lot of people have been complaining, obviously about the rain, and it's been raining pretty much everywhere. But I mean, I've been managing to get work done every single day. I've been making money. I think Monday was a good full day, and Wednesday didn't rain, but Tuesday, obviously yesterday, and today we've gotten some rain, but that's not stopping me. I'm making sure I'm still getting jobs done and staying relatively caught up. I will be working tomorrow. But yeah, y'all, hey, listen, when it comes to rain, it's something I'm really good at. You got to know what yards you can do when it's wet. You got to know your customers good enough, well enough, to where if it is wet and it's been raining a lot, if you can mow their yard, if they're not going to get upset with you. And, obviously the grass top and all that kind of stuff is a weedy yard. It's a nice turf grass style yard. And if they're real picky, obviously they're probably not going to be somebody you want to mow, but they're not. Chances are, unless it's just underwater, you can mow it. But you got to use your own discretion when it comes to mowing certain yards. That's something I'm really good at and something that I do. But either way, I'm getting through the week. I'm going to be trying out a new guy tomorrow. I'm having some issues, y'all. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to try not to get too specific, but my main guy. What's up, fellas? Hope you're doing well, man. So I'm off at the gas station, like I said before, to pick up the new guy. Hopefully it works out, because I probably, honestly, the way things are going, I may need to replace either one of my guys. I'm really not sure. Justin's telling me that he's going to be able to work through August, but with some of the issues I'm going to talk about here in a minute that I feel like every one of us would be frustrated by, I may end up having to let him go, y'all. So, and same with JR. JR is not showing very good judgment. Literally the other day, he's smoking a cigarette by the gas pumps, and he nearly got ran over yesterday. So he's showing some poor judgment for sure, and this is concerning to me, guys. It's things you got to be looking for with employees. You got to look for little things that guys on YouTube generally are going to talk about that could get you in a lot of trouble, and more so themselves in a lot of trouble. I'm literally lit up a cigarette right close to where I was pumping gas up the other day, and nearly got himself run over yesterday because he wasn't paying attention. He's blowing off and nearly backed up where a car was coming down the road. Luckily, it wasn't going fast, otherwise he got run over. Like I told him, dude, you got to pay attention, man. Not only obviously would you be hurt physically, but it could come back on me too, right? As a business owner, you get run over. I don't know. I've never had that happen. Somebody out here get seriously hurt, but you just never know with all that how that would work out. So that's stuff you got to look for. You want to, when it comes to guys, certain lapses in judgment, the character, all this kind of stuff comes into play when it comes to keeping guys on staff. So these are things that I'm noticing. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare. I've got Kobe. He's going to be working out today. We'll see how he does. He's got a lot of experience, like I said before, and likes doing this kind of work. And I got another guy who works for another company in town. He isn't getting paid hardly at all, and he's a crew leader, I believe. So I reached out to him, and he wants to work with me one Saturday just so we can, get to know each other and just see how things go. But I want to try to build my bench up, so to speak, when it comes to guys, because like I said, Justin, from what he's told me, he thinks he's going to get this job, but he can work through August. So I feel like I need to go ahead and look at, training a guy that can drive a truck. And I would never trust, as far as what I've seen and known, the new guy, JR, I just don't think I can trust him to drive a truck, to be honest with you. So I feel like I need to have a guy that could do that. And frankly, from now on, y'all, my thinking is I only want to hire guys. Of course, you never really know for sure until they work with you for a little while. But I really want to prefer to have guys that I would feel confident that could eventually drive a truck, for sure. Or not eventually, but maybe within a month or two, right? That's kind of my preference in terms of what I've been thinking about, and in terms of how I want to grow my business. I know I'm going to have good help and good employees I'm trying to get over this mindset that there's no good employees out there. So I'm going to try my best to find good guys, y'all, and pay them well and treat them right. I just want guys to show up, ready to work, ready to go, and have a good attitude. That's really what I want, right? So hopefully things will work out with the new guy I'm getting ready to pick up. We'll see how he does today. I'll be, talking with him and getting to know him a little bit and just seeing, how the work that he does, which I think is the most important thing, the work that he does and the experience level and all that. I'll be able to tell pretty quickly in terms of those things, right? But yeah, yesterday, y'all, just to give you an idea, and I think it's important to just keep it real with you guys in terms of things that we deal with out here that the other bigger channels aren't going to mention with employees, because y'all need to know what it's like, what it can be like. Now, I don't want to discourage you to a point where you can't find good employees. I know there's good employees out there. They're just hard to find. You got to be willing to go through a lot, or hopefully not too many, and hopefully you'll be able to find a couple of good guys that you can trust and just build from there, right? Yeah, yesterday, like I said before in the intro, pretty sure, I know I woke up my wife, and probably a good chance I probably woke up my neighbors at 6:30. So I got a text the night before from Justin saying that, keep in mind it's been raining all week, so we've been getting off early a couple days throughout the week and didn't really even work early at all Thursday. Got off around 2 after we finished the pressure washing job up. But yeah, he texted me that night about 10 o'clock saying that he was going to have to get off early yesterday. And of course, I'm wondering why he's texting me at 10 o'clock. So I texted him back. I was like, so early, question mark? And I said, like 4? He said, yeah, I need to be off by 4. I said, okay, that's fine. Cool. Even though we're kind of behind, I mean, we may need to work a little later, right? And I'm paying this guy a really good salary. So he texted me the next morning when we get up saying he didn't sleep good. So he's going to have to meet me where we're at around 8:30 and follow me. And I lost it, to be honest with you. And then I texted him right back, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, we're busy. It's been raining. I'm going to let you go early today anyway, this afternoon. Now you're telling me that you can't make it till later this morning. You're going to follow me around. Question for you guys. How many of you guys have ever worked for a company or own a company where you let employees follow the truck around in their own vehicle? Do y'all allow that? Because that's something that, frankly, is my fault for allowing, but I've allowed Justin to do that over the years. Not as much here lately, because he's gotten a lot better, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate him for the work he's done. He does a good job overall, but I deal with a lot of goofy stuff that I'm sure a lot of you guys wouldn't put up with. And I'm guilty of it, allowing it. There's a lot of reasons that go into it, but how many of y'all have ever seen an employee or a company that would allow an employee to follow the truck around in their own vehicle? I'm just curious if that's just something regulated to me allowing this particular individual to do, which I think is kind of goofy, and I don't want to do that anymore. And once Justin's gone, I won't allow it. I just allowed him to do this. But yeah, so I just lost it. We were texting back and forth, and then finally I just called him up and just lost my cool, and literally probably, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure, I know I woke my wife up. She could hear me through the window. I was so mad, and just constantly catering to him and being as good as I've been to him, and nothing is good enough, y'all. Nothing is good enough to this particular individual. Everything that I do is not good enough. The raise I gave him, give him side jobs to make extra money, let him come in late because he didn't sleep good. I've let him do that numerous occasions. The list goes on, y'all, and it's just never good enough. He just mentions the fact that he don't feel like I appreciate him enough. But I mean, I feel like I appreciate him by paying him well. I do tell him good job all the time. There's a lot of things, y'all, that's just frustrating. I'm just letting y'all know, keeping it 100, what it can be like dealing with employees. That's why I'm out here. I'm getting ready to pick up the new guy at the gas station, and hoping things will go good, because I need to build that bench up. But you just never know, I may have to let him go. I may let him go this weekend. That's kind of how frustrated I am. But we'll see. Hopefully not. Either way, y'all, that's kind of what's been going on. You've still been doing well despite the rain, getting through it. and I've got a clip right after this one that I'll talk about, you know, what I look for and how I build my customer base, all that kind of stuff in the clip after when it comes to dealing with the rain. Hope you're doing well, guys. We'll get some footage too. Talk to you soon. So guys, I figured a quick update real quick. We just knocked out number 2. So to say this, I'm gonna let you know something I do when it comes to being wet and edging. The new guy's crushing it, Kobe. Seems like a really good guy. We're really hitting it, getting along really good and talking things over and just getting to know each other, and seems legit, y'all. And he's a guy I feel like with his experience, just based on talking to him, I feel like he's a guy that could eventually replace Justin in driving the truck. So that's really what I'm looking for from this point forward, is guys that I know could eventually, the sooner the better, drive a truck and lead a crew. So yeah, everything's going great with Kobe. He's doing a great job. Everything. He can flip edge, weed eats great, everything. Working hard. So yeah, when it comes to being wet, y'all, I prefer, and y'all saw the clip, I prefer to weed or edge with a weed eater when it's wet and damp, because when you use that stick edge, it's going to kick up mud, and you don't want that mud sticking to the surface of the concrete. So that's typically what I'll do when it's wet. I'll prefer to edge with a weed eater, because it's not going to sling that mud up as much, right? So that's just something, this little tidbit I throw out there. So far so good, guys. Hey, it's almost too good to be true with a new guy. It's going to make things interesting for what I decide to do with JR, or if I just go ahead and let Justin go. I'm not really sure, y'all. I'm tired of dealing with negativity and bull crap all the time and bad attitude. Just being honest with you guys. Hopefully I'm not being too harsh. This is what it is. I'm going to keep it 100. Let you know what's going on. But so far so good with Kobe. Doing great. Talk to you later. So fellas, chat real quick. I'll probably be done doing footage. Just give you an idea, talking about wet yards and customers like I mentioned in the previous clip. So yeah, these 3 yards here, 1 through 3, $50 a piece, so $150. Kobe's right there doing, man, Kobe is absolutely crushing it, y'all. Just crushing it, but we'll talk more about him later in the end of the video in terms of how things are going. But these yards here, guys, they are somewhat damp. But as you can see, they're weedy yards, and these customers are they're not picky, right? So even if maybe some spots here and there get a little marred up or whatever, they ain't gonna complain. It's not a big deal to them. It's fine. So these are all considerations that you gotta factor in to certain yards that you mow when it's wet. I feel like I'm a master at it, knowing the yards that I can do that with, and with my customer base being so big, like I mentioned before, I've got so many yards I can still do when it's wet. Even if I got a lot of customers that don't want me coming by when it's been raining a lot. So yeah, y'all, this is all considerations that you gotta think about and implement into your business. And yeah, you'll be good. Even when it's wet, I'm still crushing it out here, mowing a bunch of yards. We'll probably be close by the end of the day. We'll probably end up doing around 12, so around 90 yards this week, despite all the rain throughout the week. So yeah, y'all, hey, Kobe keeps doing a great job. Feeling really blessed, thankful. Hopefully continue to have a really good day, knock these rest of the yards out. Hope you're doing well. Hey fellas, what's up, man? So yeah, I just dropped Kobe off at the gas station. It's about 1 now. Couldn't have gotten any better, guys. Couldn't have gotten any better. We'll get more into that later, but just kind of piggyback off talking about still being productive when it's wet and it's rainy. Obviously we've all been experiencing a lot of rain. I guess if you're in the south, in the east part of the country, I've been hearing some guys talk about it, complain about it, but you got to know, you got to do certain things, you got to know certain things about customers and about grass tops, yard tops, in order to maximize your productivity when it's wet. And that's exactly what I did, man. So we did 11 yards today, 78 yards throughout the week, so 89 yards, y'all, when it's been as wet and rainy as it's been. Still managed to do 89 yards. I think Ray was talking about he only did 1 yard, made $70 this week. Guys, you just gotta, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, my customer base is set up a little differently, I guess. Obviously I got a lot more customers, but still, despite the weather, still able to be very productive. And I'm relatively caught up. There are some yards that I wanted to do last week that I'll do Monday, and we'll get them back on the schedule the following week. Probably mow them that Thursday or Friday, if that makes sense, to get the weeks, make sure the weeks are fairly even in terms of workload. So yeah, y'all, you gotta be doing those things, thinking about those things. Those are very important. It's not as simple as just mowing grass out here if you want to do this business at a high level and make the most money. Alright, on the Kobe. That was literally, I feel like I've been hoodwinked in the past, and I feel that way sort of when it comes to JR. Really putting on a really good effort, those first few days, and then slowly but surely, the real person comes out, so to speak. I've got a really good vibe from Kobe. We talked a lot. It's basically an in-house work-related interview in a way, y'all. So I definitely believe in doing that. That's just my opinion. I know some of y'all don't agree with that in terms of interviewing guys. I think you have a company like mine, or if you're just starting and looking into hiring guys, I really feel like you got to see them first for you to officially hire them. To me, that just makes logical sense. Okay, that's just my opinion. Some of y'all may disagree. I understand some of the bigger companies that have more staff and all that going ahead and just hiring guys based on the interview, but I think you're wasting a lot of time potentially just hiring guys off a phone call or a meeting at Starbucks without seeing them. Seeing is believing, guys, and I got a lot from Kobe, seeing him in action. Very, very impressed with his work. He wasn't missing stuff. He was really good on the Navigator. Both of my walkers, by the way, are in the shop, guys. The drive belt on my 223 broke yesterday. Hopefully it'll get fixed pretty soon. Should be. And my C19 has some issues with the pulleys. They're going to be doing some things, replacing the starter and some other stuff. So both my walkers are in the shop. Hopefully they'll get fixed soon. But yeah, to me, seeing is believing, guys, when it comes to workers out here. Okay, they'll tell you everything in the world you want to hear, but do you actually see them? That's how you know for sure they're good at the work, and that's what you want. You want guys, a couple points, guys, I'm going to let y'all know, and I'll let you go. You want guys, and that's what I was trying to convey to him. I want somebody that's going to be with me for the long term, number one. Number two, they like doing the work, and obviously they're good at it. Those are important things. Number three, and this is something I've been dealing with here lately, I want guys with good attitudes that come to work, ready to work. I don't have to cater to them all the time and put up with them, tell me they gotta leave early or they gotta, show up late because they didn't sleep good, which is something I deal with all the time, and apparently it's not enough. And bad attitudes and negativity, I'm tired of all of that. I don't want that in my business. I'm tired of it, and I'm getting ready to wash my hands of it. Just sick of it. If a guy, in my opinion, in my experience, if they have a bad attitude, that's not going to change. You're always going to have to deal with it, and I know that firsthand, from firsthand experience. So you guys that are young in the game, if you're watching somebody on YouTube like myself, I think you need to watch guys that are going to give it to you straight. Brian over there, we all know who he is. He ain't going to tell it to you straight. He's going to give you the sunshine and rainbows version of lawn care. He's not going to be real with you. Those guys that aren't real with you, that aren't telling you the bad, the good. I mean, they'll tell you the good, but they won't tell you the bad and the ugly, especially when it comes to employees. You guys need to know what's really going on out here. If you're thinking about hiring or thinking about starting a business, maybe you want to remain solo. And there are good employees out there. There are certain things you guys need to look out for, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to convey and tell y'all what I'm noticing with guys, so you can avoid, so you can potentially see the same things I'm telling you that I'm seeing, and avoid hiring those guys or letting them go once you start seeing these things pop up. I'm just telling you, you don't want to experience what I've been experiencing here over the last several years with certain guys, certain individuals. I'm just tired of it. I want guys to show up, ready to work, they want to be here, they have a good attitude. That's what I want, and that's what you're going to want. Okay, because it's going to be hard to build a culture if you're dealing with constantly having guys in your team, on your team, employees that have that kind of mindset. I'm tired of dealing with that, y'all. You know, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I just want to have a group of core guys that I can build with and grow a business, because ultimately you can do well solo or 1 or 2 guys, but if you really want to take it to the next level, you're going to have a good group of core individuals on your team that you can build that culture around and, you know, share your vision. I do agree, Brian talks about that kind of stuff on his channel, and I agree with that stuff. Building a culture, being able to share a vision that they want to be a part of, I agree with all that 100%. And I was telling him some of those things with our talks in the truck in terms of what I want. So right now it's just a point of him. I got to get some things straightened out, obviously, figure some things out. But it's just a matter of him getting things figured out on his end in terms of moving here. He wants to be close to his girlfriend. So he's moving here from Montgomery, I believe, not that far away. But yeah, there's some moving parts there that we got to figure out, y'all, for everything to work, for him to officially move over. And I got to do it. I got to. He's a turnkey employee, y'all. And I mean by that, he's somebody I feel like could drive a truck within a couple weeks. He's the kind of guy that my man Ray would love to have right now, that he could trust right away to drive a truck around knocking out yards. And that's ultimately what I want employees. I've mentioned before, if I can find an employee that it may take a few weeks, a few months, I prefer to find an employee that I could trust to drive a truck around. I don't want to have a guy that I don't feel like could ever drive a truck around. And that's kind of how I feel about JR. I don't feel like he could ever be somebody that I would trust to drive a truck and lead a crew. I just don't get that from him, and I doubt that's going to change. So why am I wasting my time, right? So that's why I got to get a guy in place to replace Justin come September, which is what it seems like the plan going to be. I mean, I may have to let him go before then if he don't start, watching his attitude and showing me a little more respect. Just to be honest with you, I'm just tired of dealing with bull crap, y'all. I'm tired of it, sick of it, and y'all don't want to either. So that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you, so you can avoid dealing with what I've been having to deal with for so long. You don't want to deal with it. We've been getting the work done, but there's a lot of things that I got to put up with that I'm sick of, y'all, for real. So yeah, y'all, hey, great debut from Kobe. I think everything's gonna work out to where I can hire him. He's got to drive. He's got to ride. He's got a driver's license. I made him show me the driver's license, by the way. And he's got a good attitude, and this is what he wants to do. So a perfect candidate for me to replace Justin with in the fall. He'd be ready. Like I said, I could probably trust him to start driving a truck within a couple of weeks, to be honest with you, once he got somewhat familiar with the yards. But definitely within a few months, I feel like he could. So that's good, y'all. Really excited. Despite, the rain, still had a really good week. Again, 89 yards, y'all. And we did a pressure washing job and some bush jobs too. I'm not sure what the revenue number was, but really did good overall, despite the weather. So proud of that. But either way, y'all, hey, listen, hope y'all are doing real. Make it to church tomorrow. God bless each and every one of you. Talk to you later.